Men over 60, I need you to hear this with open ears and an open heart. Every single night across America, millions of men wake up 3, 4, sometimes even 6 times just to rush to the bathroom. They think it's just age, just part of being older. But the shocking truth is this: those nightly struggles, that weak stream, that loss of energy and confidence are not inevitable. They are early warning signs from your prostate, and ignoring them can rob you of sleep, intimacy, and freedom. I'm Dr. Mohit Khera, a urologist and men's health specialist. For more than 3 decades, I've dedicated my career to helping men like you protect their prostate, restore their energy, and reclaim their dignity. I've walked this journey with thousands of patients, and I've seen the difference between those who take action early and those who wait until it's too late. Here's the paradox that might surprise you. One of the most protective habits for your prostate is the very one most men are embarrassed to talk about: regular sexual activity, including masturbation. For years, many believed it might cause harm, but new science reveals the opposite. It can actually shield your prostate from disease. That's only one piece of the puzzle. Today, I'll share with you 5 simple, evidence-based daily habits that can change the course of your health. They're not gimmicks, they're not expensive. They are powerful, natural tools that can reduce inflammation, improve sleep, and even protect you against prostate cancer. And I promise, by the end of this video, when I reveal the most misunderstood habit of them all, you'll see your prostate and your future in a whole new light. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss important health advice designed for men over 60. And if you find this video valuable, type 1 in the comments. If it doesn't resonate with you, type 0. Your feedback helps me create even better content for you. Now that you understand why these daily habits matter, let's begin with the very first one. It may seem simple, but it has the power to transform your nights and protect your prostate in ways most men overlook. I'm talking about the way you hydrate each day. Habit 1. Hydrate the right way. When I sit across from a man in his 60s or 70s in my office, one of the first questions I ask is surprisingly simple: how much water do you drink in a day? More often than not, I hear the same answer. A shrug, a little laugh, and words like, "Not enough, doc. I drink when I feel thirsty." And that response always concerns me, because by the time you actually feel thirsty, your body is already running behind on hydration. This matters more than most men realize, especially when it comes to the prostate. You see, as we age, our sense of thirst naturally weakens. It's part of the aging process. What feels like just another quirk of getting older is actually a silent risk factor. When we don't drink enough water, our urine becomes concentrated, more acidic, and loaded with waste products. And where does that urine pass? Right through the delicate tissues of the bladder and the prostate. Over time, this concentrated urine acts like a constant irritant. It inflames tissue, aggravates prostate swelling, and worsens the very symptoms so many men over 60 struggle with: frequent urination, urgency, a weak stream, and the dreaded nighttime trips to the bathroom. I remember one patient, a proud grandfather in his late 60s, who came to me exhausted. He was waking up 5 times a night to urinate. He told me, "Doc, I feel like I spend more time in the bathroom than I do in my bed." His problem wasn't just the enlarged prostate, it was his hydration habits. He would skip water during the day, then drink big glasses with dinner and even before bed. He thought he was doing the right thing, but it was backfiring. By shifting his water intake earlier in the day and tapering off in the evening, he cut those nighttime trips almost in half within just 2 weeks. This is not just anecdote, it's backed by real science. A major study published in the Journal of Urology followed over 2,000 men aged 60 and older. The results were striking. Those who distributed their water intake earlier in the day while reducing fluids at night saw a 41% reduction in nighttime urinary urgency and frequency. That means men just like you were finally able to sleep through the night. Think about how transformative that is. Imagine waking up refreshed, not drained from running back and forth to the bathroom. Sleep is healing, and proper hydration is one of the simplest ways to reclaim it. Here's the practical truth. Hydration is not just about drinking water, It's about drinking water the right way. The goal is to keep your urine pale yellow, not dark and concentrated. For most men, that means 6 to 8 cups of water a day, adjusted based on your activity level and kidney health. The secret lies in timing. Start drinking in the morning. Keep sipping through the late morning and early afternoon. Then gradually reduce your intake after 5 or 6 p.m. so your bladder can rest at night. Think of it as training your body to stay balanced. By following this pattern, you protect your prostate, spare your bladder, and give yourself the gift of uninterrupted sleep. Some men ask me, "But doc, what about coffee, tea, or beer? That's fluid, right?" And here's where I get firm. Yes, those drinks are liquid, but they do not count as proper hydration. Coffee and alcohol, in fact, are diuretics. They force your body to lose water rather than retain it, which only worsens dehydration and irritates the bladder. They're fine in moderation, but they are not substitutes for clean, pure water. And as much as sports drinks and sodas may tempt you, the added sugars and chemicals are the opposite of what your prostate needs. Water remains the gold standard. What I want you to see is that hydration is not a chore. It is one of the most powerful medicines you can give yourself, and it costs almost nothing. With every sip, you're flushing out toxins, reducing irritation, and creating an environment where your prostate can stay calm rather than inflamed. It's not just about preventing problems, it's about reclaiming control of your body. When you sleep soundly, when you make it through the day without rushing to the bathroom every hour, you feel more like yourself again. That sense of freedom, of dignity, is priceless. I'll be honest with you, many men who sit in my office want a quick fix. A pill, a surgery, something to make the problem go away overnight. And yes, there are times when medicine or procedures are necessary. But I've seen too many men overlook the foundational habits that can truly transform their health. Proper hydration is one of those foundations. It doesn't grab headlines, it doesn't sound dramatic, but the men who commit to it consistently are the ones who come back to me with a smile on their face and say, "Doc, I finally slept through the night." So let me ask you, when was the last time you paid attention to your hydration? When was the last time you thought of water as medicine instead of just something to sip when you're parched? Starting today, I want you to treat water like a prescription. Write it down, remind yourself, make it part of your daily rhythm, because your prostate will thank you in ways you'll feel every single day. And here's the beauty of this journey. Hydration is just the beginning. If something as simple as drinking water the right way can ease discomfort and restore sleep, imagine what happens when we add movement into the equation. Because the next daily habit I'll share with you is about walking, just 15 minutes after a meal, and it may be one of the most underestimated secrets to a healthier prostate and a stronger body. Let's dive into that next. Habit 2. Walk after meals. When I think back over my years of practice, there is one conversation I've had with countless men that always brings a knowing smile to my face. I'll ask, "Do you walk after meals?" And nearly every time, the man sitting across from me will shake his head and say something like, "Doc, I don't have the energy," or "I just want to sit down after dinner." I understand that instinct. After a long day, it feels natural to sink into a chair, maybe turn on the television, and let your body rest. But here's the truth. That simple choice of staying still after a meal is costing your prostate more than you realize. Walking after meals is not about exercise in the way we usually think of it. It's not about burning calories or pushing your limits. It's about gently guiding your body into a state of balance, especially at a time when your system is under the most demand. When you eat, your blood sugar rises, your digestive system works harder, and your circulation slows as your body redirects energy to breaking down food. For younger men, that transition may not be noticeable. But for men over 60, that slowdown can create a cascade of problems, many of which land directly on the prostate. I remember one patient of mine, a man in his early 70s, who had struggled for years with frequent urination, bloating, and fatigue. He was skeptical when I suggested a 10 to 15-minute walk after dinner. He laughed and said, "Doc, a walk isn't going to change my life." But he trusted me enough to try. 2 weeks later, he returned with a different tone. "I can't believe it," he said. "I feel lighter after meals, I'm sleeping better, and I'm not running to the bathroom as often." His face carried the look of a man who had rediscovered a part of himself he thought was lost. And the only change he made was that short, consistent walk after his evening meal. Science supports what my patients have shown me. Research from Sao Paulo Medical School revealed that older men who regularly walked after meals had up to a 35% lower risk of developing moderate to severe prostate symptoms compared to those who remained sedentary. 35%. That is not a small difference. It's a life-changing one. Walking stimulates blood flow to the pelvic area, and with that comes increased oxygen and nutrients to the prostate gland. This isn't just good for the gland itself, it reduces inflammation, promotes healing, and helps keep tissues resilient against the wear and tear of age. Beyond the prostate, walking after meals has another powerful effect. It regulates blood sugar. Why does that matter? Because insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes are directly linked to prostate problems. Elevated blood sugar fuels inflammation, and chronic inflammation is one of the driving forces behind benign prostatic hyperplasia. That simple walk after a meal acts like a natural medication. It steadies blood sugar, reduces inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein and interleukin-6, and gently resets the system. It is one of the cheapest, most effective therapies you'll ever find, and it doesn't come from a pharmacy, it comes from your own two legs. I can't tell you how many times I've had patients look at me with surprise when they realize the simplicity of this habit. Some expect me to prescribe a new drug, others brace themselves for talk about surgery. But when I say, start with a walk after lunch and dinner, their eyes widen. They're skeptical at first, but when they follow through, they come back with gratitude. They notice their digestion improves, their energy rises, and the strain on their prostate lessens. And let me emphasize something. You don't have to walk far or fast. You don't need a gym, a treadmill, or special shoes. Even pacing slowly around your living room, your driveway, or down the block can deliver these benefits. It's not the intensity that matters, it's the consistency. Those 10 to 15 minutes create a rhythm that your body begins to rely on, a daily reset button that calms your system and protects your prostate. I share this with such passion because I've seen the difference it makes not just in the clinic, but in the lives of men who want to keep living with independence and vitality. When you finish a meal, you face a simple choice. Sit still and let your body struggle, or stand up, take those gentle steps, and give your prostate the support it deserves. 10 minutes now can save you countless hours of discomfort later. So I ask you, the next time you put your fork down, will you sit back, or will you stand and walk toward better health? Remember, walking after meals is more than exercise. It's medicine for your prostate, it's nourishment for your body, and it's a gift for your future self. Now, if hydration and walking seem like straightforward habits, the next one may stir up far more curiosity, and perhaps even a little embarrassment. Because the third daily habit I want to share with you is about sexual health, and specifically about whether regular ejaculation, including masturbation, protects or harms the prostate. The science may surprise you, and the answer could change the way you view intimacy for the rest of your life. Habit 3. Maintain regular sexual activity, the masturbation question. There is a question that men over 60 whisper about but rarely ask out loud. Does masturbation protect or destroy the prostate? I've seen the discomfort in the eyes of my patients when they want to ask but hold back, afraid of embarrassment or judgment. So let me say this clearly, as your doctor and your advocate. You are never too old to prioritize your sexual health, and no man should ever feel ashamed for asking how intimacy affects his body. Over the years, I've spoken with men who told me they had given up sexual activity altogether. Some thought it was no longer appropriate for their age. Others worried it might harm their prostate, drain their energy, or weaken their body. One man in his late 60s once told me, "Doc, I stopped touching myself because I thought it would make my prostate worse." That belief weighed heavily on him, and with it came frustration, sadness, and the loss of a part of his identity. What he didn't know is that the science says just the opposite. One of the most powerful studies on this subject came from Harvard researchers who followed over 30,000 men for nearly 2 decades. Their findings were eye-opening. Men who ejaculated 21 times or more each month had a 33% lower risk of developing prostate cancer than those who did so less frequently. In other words, regular sexual release, whether through intimacy with a partner or through masturbation, does not destroy the prostate. It cleanses and protects it. Each time you ejaculate, your prostate releases old fluids, inflammatory proteins, and dead cells that otherwise sit in the gland and create irritation. This natural flushing process keeps the prostate healthier, calmer, and less congested. Beyond the cleansing effect, sexual activity has profound benefits for your entire system. It increases blood circulation in the pelvic area, delivering oxygen and nutrients where they're needed most. It balances hormones, keeping testosterone in check and cortisol, the stress hormone, under control. It even relaxes the muscles around the prostate, easing tension that can worsen urinary symptoms. For men who struggle with stress, anxiety, or even the fear of losing intimacy, these moments of release act like nature's own therapy. They lower blood pressure, lighten the mood, and remind you that your body is still capable of pleasure and connection no matter your age. I share this with such conviction because I've seen how restoring sexual confidence changes a man's entire life. A widower in his 70s once confessed to me that he felt guilty whenever he thought about pleasuring himself. But when I explained the science, his shoulders dropped, and he said with relief, "So you're telling me it's actually good for me?" Yes, not only is it good, it may very well extend your life and protect your prostate from disease. Of course, intimacy is about more than mechanics. For many men, especially those in long marriages or new relationships, it's also about emotional connection. Being able to share that closeness with a partner can rekindle a sense of youth, confidence, and vitality. It's not just about the act itself, but about what it represents, that you are still fully alive, still capable of giving and receiving love, still connected to the very core of who you are as a man. Now, some men will say, "But doc, my desire isn't what it used to be. Sometimes I can't perform the way I want to." I want you to know that these concerns are valid, and they are not a sign of weakness. Aging changes the body, but it does not erase your right to intimacy. If you struggle with performance, speak with your doctor. There are safe, effective treatments available, from lifestyle adjustments to medical support. What matters most is that you do not let fear or shame stop you from maintaining regular sexual activity, because the evidence is clear. It is one of the most protective habits for your prostate and your well-being. And so, the answer to the question is this: masturbation and sexual release do not destroy the prostate. They protect it. They cleanse it, calm it, and strengthen it. They keep you connected to your body and your vitality. If there is one message I hope you take from this, it is that your sexual health is not behind you. It remains an essential part of your health at every age. Now imagine this. If something as natural and personal as regular sexual activity can have such a profound effect on prostate health, what about the foods you put on your plate every single day? Because the next daily habit we'll explore is about nutrition. Specific foods that don't just fuel your body, but actually shield your prostate from harm. Some of them may already be in your kitchen, and the science behind them might surprise you. Habit 4. Eat for prostate protection. When I sit with men in my office and ask about their diet, I often get the same answer: "Oh doc, I eat pretty well." Then we talk a little more, and I hear about plates filled with red meat, white bread, fried foods, and not a vegetable in sight. Many men over 60 grew up in a time when meat and potatoes were considered a healthy meal, and vegetables were something you pushed to the side. But what we now know is that the foods you eat every single day can either inflame your prostate or protect it. Food isn't just fuel, it's medicine, and for the prostate, that medicine is more powerful than most men realize. I'll never forget a patient of mine, a man in his late 60s who came in feeling worn out. He had been told he had an enlarged prostate and wanted to avoid surgery at all costs. We reviewed his habits and discovered that his diet was heavy on processed foods, fast food, and beer. He told me, "I didn't think what I ate had anything to do with my prostate." But after making changes, within 3 months he felt stronger, his urinary symptoms improved, and he told me his wife said he looked younger. What changed? His food. Let me tell you about some of the most powerful foods for prostate protection. First, Lycopene-rich foods like tomatoes, watermelon, and guava. Lycopene is a bright red antioxidant that becomes even more potent when tomatoes are cooked, especially with olive oil. A major analysis showed that men who ate cooked tomatoes at least twice a week had a 28% lower risk of developing prostate cancer. That's not a small number. That's thousands of men avoiding disease because of something as simple as tomato sauce on whole grain pasta or a bowl of vegetable soup. Next, zinc-rich foods. Zinc is a mineral that your prostate craves. It supports testosterone balance, helps enzymes function properly, and strengthens the very structure of the prostate itself. Foods like pumpkin seeds, oysters, and nuts are excellent sources. I often tell my patients to keep a small bag of pumpkin seeds at hand for a daily snack. It's a tiny change, but it can mean a lot over time. Then we have cruciferous vegetables: broccoli, kale, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. These vegetables contain sulforaphane, a compound that helps your body detoxify harmful substances and protects DNA from damage. Studies show that sulforaphane can reduce the risk of cellular changes that lead to prostate cancer. When men add these vegetables regularly to their plate, they're not just eating for today, they're defending their health for years to come. It's not just about adding good foods, it's about limiting the harmful ones. Diets high in processed meats, refined sugars, and excess dairy have been linked to higher risks of prostate problems. These foods drive inflammation, and inflammation is the enemy of the prostate. I often tell men, if it comes in a wrapper, be careful. Fresh, colorful, whole foods should make up the majority of your plate. But let me be clear, eating for prostate protection doesn't mean your meals have to be bland or boring. It's about finding joy in nourishing your body. Grilled salmon with a side of roasted broccoli, a colorful salad with pumpkin seeds, a bowl of oatmeal with berries and walnuts. These are meals that can satisfy your taste buds while healing your body. Over time, your energy improves, your digestion smooths out, your weight balances, and yes, your prostate thanks you with fewer symptoms. There's an emotional piece to this as well. Many men tell me they feel helpless when it comes to their prostate, as if it's a ticking time bomb. Changing your diet is a way to take control. Every meal becomes a choice, an opportunity to lower your risk and invest in your future. I've watched men transform not just their health, but their confidence, when they realize they can influence their body with what they eat. They walk taller, they smile more, and they know they're fighting for their own vitality. The beauty of eating for prostate protection is that it's something you do every day. You don't have to wait for a prescription. You don't have to sit in a waiting room. You simply open your refrigerator and decide whether you're going to give your body what it needs or what it fears. Over time, those small decisions add up to big results. So as you think about your next meal, I want you to remember this. Every bite you take is either feeding inflammation or fighting it. Choose foods that fight, and you'll be giving your prostate the defense it desperately needs. And here's where it all ties together. If hydration, walking, and sexual activity give your prostate immediate relief, and nutrition builds long-term defense, then the next habit may be the most overlooked of all, because without it, everything else falls apart. I'm talking about sleep, the deep, restorative kind that not only recharges your mind, but also governs the very hormones and repair systems that keep your prostate healthy. And what the science reveals about sleep and prostate disease might surprise you. Habit 5. Prioritize restorative sleep. If there is one part of health that men over 60 consistently underestimate, it is sleep. I cannot count the number of times a patient has waved off his fatigue with a chuckle, saying, "I'll sleep when I'm dead." But every time I hear those words, I wince inside, because the truth is the opposite. Without restorative sleep, your body begins breaking down long before its time. For the prostate, in particular, lack of sleep is like pouring gasoline on a fire. I remember a man in his late 60s who came to see me for worsening urinary symptoms. He complained of waking up 5 or 6 times a night, never feeling rested, always dragging through his days. He believed his problem was just the prostate itself, but as I dug deeper, I discovered something important. His lifestyle was chaotic. He stayed up until 2 in the morning watching television, drank coffee late in the day, and kept his phone by his bed, scrolling whenever he couldn't sleep. His prostate was already inflamed, but his lack of rest was magnifying every symptom. Together, we worked on his sleep habits, and within weeks, he noticed a change. He still needed treatment for his prostate, but once he began getting 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep, his urgency improved, his mood lifted, and he said he felt like a different man. That transformation was not from a pill, it was from sleep. Why does sleep matter so much for prostate health? Because your body's most powerful repair work happens when you are at rest. During deep sleep, your body produces melatonin and growth hormone, two crucial compounds with anti-inflammatory properties. Melatonin is more than a sleep hormone. It helps regulate your immune system and has been shown to slow down the progression of certain cancers, including prostate cancer. Growth hormone is equally vital. It repairs tissues, supports muscle strength, and calms inflammation that would otherwise keep your prostate swollen and irritated. Without sleep, these hormones plummet, leaving your body vulnerable. A study published in Cancer Epidemiology, Biomarkers and Prevention revealed that men with frequent sleep disturbances had twice the risk of developing advanced prostate cancer compared to men who slept soundly. Twice the risk. That is not something we can ignore. And beyond cancer, poor sleep drives weight gain, lowers testosterone, and elevates cortisol, the stress hormone that fuels inflammation. It becomes a vicious cycle. The worse you sleep, the more inflamed your prostate becomes, which makes you wake up more often to urinate, which then further destroys your sleep. Breaking that cycle is one of the most important steps you can take for your health. So how do we do it? The answer is not complicated, but it requires commitment. Start by making your bedroom a sanctuary. Keep it dark, cool, and quiet. Remove the glowing screens, the late-night television, the phone buzzing on the nightstand. Train your body to expect rest by going to bed and waking up at the same times every day, even on weekends. Avoid caffeine in the afternoon and evening. Instead, sip water earlier in the day and taper off toward night. Gentle evening routines, like reading, stretching, or listening to calm music, signal to your brain that it is time to shut down. These small changes may seem insignificant, but they create the environment your body needs for deep, restorative sleep. When you give yourself this gift, the rewards ripple through every part of your life. You think more clearly, your energy returns, your mood stabilizes, and your prostate benefits directly as inflammation decreases and hormones rebalance. I've seen men go from feeling hopeless to feeling alive again simply by prioritizing sleep. One patient told me, with tears in his eyes, "Doc, I didn't realize how much life I was missing until I finally slept through the night." That is the power of restorative rest. What I want you to hear is this: sleep is not an indulgence. It is medicine. It is as essential as hydration, movement, nutrition, and intimacy. Without it, your body cannot heal. With it, your prostate can calm, your energy can return, and your quality of life can rise in ways you may have forgotten were possible. And now, having walked through these 5 daily habits, hydration, walking, sexual activity, nutrition, and sleep, it's time to step back and see the bigger picture. Because these habits do more than protect your prostate. They rebuild confidence, restore dignity, and open the door to a fuller life. In the conclusion, I want to share why these small choices, taken together, can completely redefine how you age, and why the men who act on them today are the ones who enjoy the freedom, strength, and intimacy that others only dream of. Conclusion. Final message. As we come to the close of this conversation, I want you to pause for a moment and think about what we've shared together. 5 daily habits. At first glance, they may seem almost too simple. Hydrate the right way, take a walk after meals, maintain regular sexual activity, eat for prostate protection, and prioritize restorative sleep. But I hope you now see that within these simple choices lies the power to transform your health, your energy, and your confidence as a man over 60. I've spent more than 3 decades sitting across from men just like you. I've seen the frustration in their eyes when the nights are filled with endless trips to the bathroom, when intimacy becomes a source of worry instead of joy, when fatigue weighs down every step of the day. I've also seen the relief, the pride, and the renewed spirit in those same men when they make these changes and discover that aging does not have to mean surrendering their freedom. That is why I speak with such conviction, because I have watched these habits work again and again in the lives of real people. Think about it. A glass of water at the right time, a gentle stroll after dinner, the courage to embrace your sexual health without shame, a colorful plate of food that nourishes more than just your stomach, and the decision to treat sleep as sacred medicine. These are not complicated prescriptions. They are choices that anyone can make, and they don't require wealth or perfect health to begin. They require only willingness and consistency, and what you gain in return is priceless. The ability to sleep deeply, move confidently, connect intimately, and face each day with clarity and strength. I want you to hear me when I say this. Your best years are not behind you. They are still ahead if you choose to claim them. I've seen men in their 70s and even 80s discover new vitality, new energy, and new purpose simply by acting on these habits. It is never too late. The body has a remarkable ability to heal when you give it the chance. So my challenge to you is this. Don't wait for a crisis. Don't wait until the doctor's office feels like your second home. Start today. Begin with one habit, then build from there. Share this message with the men you love, your brothers, your sons, your friends, because prostate health is not just about longevity, it's about living well. And living well is something every man deserves, no matter his age. This is Dr. Mohit Khera, reminding you that your prostate, your health, and your future are in your hands. Make the small decisions today, and they will repay you with years of strength, freedom, and dignity tomorrow.